One thing about music when it 200 in the back, 200 in the back.
What's up guys, this is Grant with Downtime Media. In this video I'm going to be swapping the mechanical clutch fan for an electric radiator fan on my BMW 325xi wagon. The electric fan that I bought is from Speeding Motor Parts on eBay. I'll drop the link to the one that I bought in the description. I paid about $95 for this fan, and here it is out of the box. As far as I can tell, it looks like a pretty quality part and has everything that it should have. It has the correct plug for power, and it also has cutouts to clip in your air quality sensor. The blades look good, and it has all of the tabs for a factory fit. Let's bring the wagon into the garage and get started on this swap. First thing we need to do is remove the air scoop. To do that, there are two pins, one on the left and one on the right. Just pull out the center and the rest will come out with it. After that, I disconnected the plug to the air quality sensor and set it aside. Then I wiggled the air scoop out of the connector and then disconnected the connector joint from the air box. There are two little tabs on both sides. After that was out of the way, I removed a push pin from the driver's side of the fan shroud, just in front of the coolant fill cap. After disconnecting the power line for the auxiliary fan, I made sure that the shroud was loose. On the passenger side of the shroud there should be a T20 screw to secure it, but it was missing from my car. Here's a close-up of the nut that needs to be broken loose. I used a 1 1/4 inch wrench and a mallet to loosen up the nut. There's enough tension on the water pump pulley so that if you give the wrench a quick tap with a mallet, it should break free. If it doesn't, you'll have to use a water pump holder to break the nut loose. Notice that I placed the wrench at the 10 o'clock position so that I wouldn't hit the Vanos intake solenoid. Once the nut is free, all you have to do is spin the fan off the rest of the threads. Make sure to hold the blades as you get close so that it doesn't fall into the engine bay and damage anything. Once it's off, pull it out along with the shroud. Here's what the fan and shroud look like out of the car. Now that we've got the clutch fan out, it's time to drop the electric fan in. All you have to do is carefully slide the fan behind the radiator and make sure that all of the tabs engage into their slots. There's a little clip on top of the shroud that clips onto the radiator. The fan should be snug in the engine bay without any hardware. Once the fan is seated, insert the push pin into the driver's side and then the T25 screw into the passenger side if you have it. Then connect the wire harness. Grab the air quality sensor from the old shroud and clip it into place in the new shroud and connect the wires. This is what everything should look like right now. Next, we need to remove the auxiliary fan from in front of the radiator. But first, let's test this new fan to make sure that it works. The fan works great, and I was actually very surprised by the amount of air that it was pulling from the front of the radiator. I reinstalled the air scoop and the connector, but don't reinsert the push pins yet, because next we'll be taking off the front bumper to get that auxiliary fan out. To remove the bumper, use a 10mm hex socket on an extension to remove the bolts from the holes in the bottom lip. This is a little tricky and might take some time. It helps to remove the plastic fins on the edges of the bumper. These just pull right out from some plastic snap clips. Once the bolts are out, remove the 8mm screws from the bottom of the bumper. My car only had 2 of these screws on the driver's side. Then remove the 8mm bolts from the outside of the fender liner. After the screws are out, gently pull the edges of the bumper away from the car. Before completely pulling the bumper off, make sure to disconnect the fog light and horn wires. Now that the bumper is off, we need to remove this radiator guard. It's held on by 4 plastic Phillips head screws that are inserted into plastic push pins. These are extremely difficult to remove without breaking, and I completely ruined all 4 attempting to remove them. I bought a replacement pack on Amazon for about $5. Pull the radiator guard out of the way, and now we have access to the auxiliary fan. Remove the 4 nuts with a 13mm socket. Slide the fan off the posts and fish the harness through the hole. Replace the nuts onto the post. Now it's time to reassemble the front end. Replace the radiator guard and insert the 4 plastic pins, then screw in the Phillips head screws. Once the guard is in, replace the 2 push pins that hold the air scoop to the guard. Make sure that everything is tight and then get ready to reattach the bumper. Connect the fog light and horn connections. Slide the bumper into the white brackets at the sides and push it into place. Reinsert the torque-shaped bolts into the holes and tighten. Replace the 8mm screws in the fender liners as well as the bottom lip. Replace the plastic trims by snapping them into place. Before you get too excited, turn the car on and make sure that your horn and fog lights still work. Here's how my gaps looked after I finished replacing the bumper. After that, the fan swap is done. Months back, I filmed videos on replacing the windshield cowl as well as replacing the valve cover gasket, but those clips ended up being accidentally deleted. The old windshield cowl was almost completely gone when I had the windshield replaced, so I figured it was a good time to get it done with. My car also had a slight oil burning smell when driven long distances, so I replaced the valve cover gasket. After the gasket was replaced, the oil burning smell basically went away. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. More videos coming soon. Thanks for watching.